I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so excited. And you know what's crazy? I think you're the perfect person to ask this to. This is probably the question that I hate the most. But what's your response, or now, like when people ask you like, oh, are you an artist, or what do you do, or do you consider yourself an artist? It's easier for you to say yes, or how do you come across with that question?
Definitely. I've been saying it for a while because I had an internship for Basel like when I was a senior in college. Is that what you call it? My last year, whatever. But I told the lady that like I want to be an artist. And then she asked me like, do you make art? And I said yes. She says, do you sell art? And I said yes. She says, well, do you want to like one day have your work, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, you're already an artist, so start speaking it, you know?
Of course.
So I've been saying it for a while, but this is definitely like the first year that it really feels like it.
Okay, so because that was kind of like where I was going towards the question, like when did you really come to terms with it, and when did you start, you know, speaking it so freely? Because I feel like I've been an artist all my life. I've been a dancer all my life. I've been in theater all my life. You know, been writing all my life. So, you know, but I never considered myself an artist, maybe because I don't paint or because, you know, whatever the reason. And I feel like a lot of people do that. Like you create art unknowingly, but you don't really embrace the fact that you're an artist. So that was definitely it. Like, you know, when did you really come to terms with that? You said like your last year of college.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But her giving me that like freedom to speak it made me move more in that direction, you know, and not feel so trapped. Like I had to achieve a certain level of like notoriety to call myself an artist, or like, you know, like I had to be in a gallery to be considered an artist. So it helped, you know, and that was always something I tried to give back to my students by letting them know like there's not one way to create art, because we get trapped. Like if you don't draw, you know, realistic hyperrealism, you think you're not an artist, and there's such a broad definition.
Yeah, I feel like even being an art enthusiast or you know, just liking art will make you an artist. You know, someone told me that one time, and I was like, you know what, that has sense to it. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And you said that, I know that your dad was a graphic designer. When did you start doing graphics? Did you start doing that like growing up, or because of him, or?
I always wanted to. I didn't really get to it until I started teaching. Like the school knew that I had like an interest in art, and I was minoring in art, but the position they hired me for was like not drawing, painting. It was visual technology, and yeah, so that's basically like graphic design for high school kids.
Okay, because you wanted to be like I
wanted to paint. I thought that I would be doing painting. That's what I wanted to be like known for.
Oh, okay. You started you started teaching right after high school?
Right after college, yeah.
Right after college?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you did you want to be a teacher like throughout your high school, and like when did you like, okay, I think I want to teach?
Not at all. Not at all. That's not the last thing. Like I've always loved kids, and I've always loved you know, seeing them inspired and things like that. But just for the stigma, you know, like even within my family, like you just know that teachers make a certain amount of money, and they will always make a certain amount of money. And because of like the grades and stuff that I got, my family definitely wanted better for me. They didn't like look down on it, but that's just, none of us thought, you know, that would be the path.
What did you want to do?
I wanted to be an artist, but I was scared.
Okay.
And then I wanted to do psychology. I wanted to be a therapist, and I wanted to find a way to like merge art and therapy. But I don't know. It was not, I didn't love it as much as, you know, teaching. That's just how it happened. Because I thought I would teach and then continue getting like my master's and my doctorates to do psychology. But then I started realizing I didn't love it that much.
That you like teaching more? You're not teaching now?
No.
Okay. Are you going to go back to it? Because your kids love you. I see you on like when you put it on IG and like your stories, and I think you went to prom with one of your students. I was like, she's so cute, you know, and like they love you. So do you want to go back to that?
No. It just I want there to be another way that I can still, you know, have ties to them and like help them, but not in the school setting. It just became very like stagnant. There's not much room for growth. And me as an artist, like the kids pushed me to get comfortable, but then there was no one to like push me farther to like teach me anything new. Like I was teaching them everything, and like I was the person in the school to go to for like any graphics or flyers, t-shirts, this and that, and like I just wasn't learning from anyone, you know.
Okay. And so now you're just like full throttle on like entrepreneurship and just focusing on yourself and your business. That's what you're doing now?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think is the most rewarding thing from like what you do?
It's crazy because I think of like how I'm always on and like I'm always working, and I don't feel tired, I don't feel frustrated. And that's something that even if it was like 3 days a week I'm working, 4 days a week I'm working, I'm still just like tired, you know, and just like feeling burnt out. So I don't know, I think that's the best feeling, knowing that like the work you put in 24/7 is going towards something like meaningful.
You're saying that you're more tired now?
I'm not.
Like, you're not tired. Yeah, I was like, yeah, because you kind of, you know, you do things on your own and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I don't know. I just really love your work. I'll be honest. Like I had like questions lined up, so I was like, okay, I know what to ask. But realistically, I know I even posted the other day on Twitter. I was like, shout out Reyna Noriega, because I feel like you do so much, and I don't know if people realize it or not, but if you don't, you have to. You got to start, like, follow her or do whatever you do. Because I feel like you do a lot as far as, like, just inspiring people to... You're so positive is what I'm trying to say. Like, when I listen to you, whether you're posting up a little story, driving in the car, or you go live, you know, or whatever it is, you're very positive. You do what you love. And one of the most important things I think from you is not only just how humble I feel that you are, but just how you come across with everything that you know you're surrounded by, and everything that you know that you've been given, like how you utilize those things. A lot of people, you know, like Ishy was mentioning it earlier, like a lot of people have all these tools and kind of throw them away, or come from privileged homes, and it's like you have both parents, yet you want to be out in the street doing nonsense, and they don't utilize, you know, the things that they're given to like their like maximum potential, you know. So I love like just everything that you do.
Thank you.
So with that being said, do you think that you would be in the position that you are if you didn't have your support system?
I don't. And the reason why is I'm very sensitive. I'm definitely an empath, and I definitely take like there's been times I would go out when I was young with my parents and seeing homeless people, and no one would know, but I would come home crying and like pray. Like I would spend the whole night praying, like why like do people live like that, you know? And I think that some people come from really hard backgrounds and they make the best of it, you know? And I'm always so inspired by their stories and so proud of them. But I feel like I need, like, there's even a certain amount that, like, I kind of step away from things that make me sad and make me feel bad, because it will drain me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll think about it, I'll dwell on it, it'll hurt me. And so, like, I think if I didn't have that sense of, I don't know, love and support to ground me, and, like, I have that safety, it allows me to feel like stronger and to do more. And you know, I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah. I definitely think that's what it took. My mind is so like sensitive, and I think that's why I feel such a responsibility to, like, as I'm learning things and I'm learning things about myself, to share it, because I've seen how far like I've come and like how much stronger I've become. Just getting to know myself and knowing how to use my weaknesses like for better, and I hope like more people, you know, can do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. As far as like, I kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah. So I did want to ask you about, like, you know, your support system, because I know that you have a sister, you have a brother, and are they artists?
No, I have 2 sisters. My older sister is a singer. My younger sister wants to be a doctor. She's at Chapel Hill. And then my brother likes baseball. He wants to be a baseball player. Okay. He's 17, so. And
you were raised in Miami? Like, you grew up in Miami? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Different parts, but I've been here my whole life.
Is there anything that you're working on right now? Like what are you working on anything right now? A lot. Too much to say.
I'm trying to that's something like right now, since I did that whole like Black Friday sale and stuff, I have a lot of people that need work. So I'm trying to like get that done first, and then try to be more strategic about like having launch dates and stuff, because I have a lot of ideas and I try to work on them at the same time. But I think that if none of them has like a deadline, like it feels like nothing gets done, you know, or I put it off because I think I'll have a better idea or like a better way to do it. So I'm definitely trying to start the new year with the projects that I've been wanting to do all year.
Okay, and that's like your graphics and, right?
Graphics, okay, so let me think. There's one book that I'm writing, and it's for creatives, not necessarily creatives, but just helping people get out of their own way and like realizing the role that fear plays in their life, and like all aspects, and like love and work and the way that you talk to yourself, and just trying to kind of like backpack all of the things that the doubts that I had and like what I found on the other side. So just having those like real, like this is what your mind is telling you, this is the reality. There's a children's book. As I started to be inspired by like what people around me were doing, you know, like as you elevate, you meet like-minded people, and I feel like all of my friends are superheroes. Like everyone who takes their talents and takes like their passions to do better and to put good out in the world, like to me, I see that as like the route we're going to take to eventually like heal and like save the world, you know? So it's kind of like a children's book written from that kind of like mindset, and then encouraging the kids, like if in your lifetime this hasn't happened yet, like just know like it can start with you. So that one, like I wrote it already. I'm really excited. I do so many different styles drawing wise. Like I haven't picked the perfect one and like the perfect color scheme, so that's kind of what's holding me back. And then a comic that I definitely want, like it has to be launched by January 1st or I'll be sad, called Dating Pool. And I want it to be just funny little snippets that we go through, like dating as millennials, and like the little things that we go through.
That sounds fun.
Definitely. And I want people to like contribute, you know, and like I'm thinking of doing it like that, have people submit their stories and then like feature maybe a different story when I run out of my own. Because I know, like when you start talking to people and see what they've been through, it's like, damn, like we're really out here wilding, like everyone's crazy.
That's how we do the liquid. It's a lot of like other people's situations and we think about it.
Yeah.
Don't give me a mic.
I'm sorry, I feel like I'm interviewing like my idol or something. I'm just like,
Stop.
I mean, I do, but I like her. I really do. I really like you.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that sounds dope. I'm excited. I'm excited for the dating pool. That sounds really good.
And I would have forced myself to post it, but maybe things happen for a reason. Like I think 2 weeks ago, my iPad, I was doing an update and it crashed during the update. So when I took it to Apple and they refreshed it, like it didn't work. So they were like, well, we just have to start over. And the last time that like I reset my iPad, everything from Procreate like popped back up. So I thought that would happen, but everything was gone and it stayed gone. And
oh man, what, and Procreate is what
one of the apps that I use, one of the drawing apps. It's really similar to Photoshop.
Okay.
Yeah. And then other than that, like I think that forced me though, because I've been creating a lot more. Like if I look at my Procreate, it has just as much stuff as it did before the wipeout in 2 weeks, you know. And there's like, I'm doing a lot of things that I've always wanted to do, like designing bookmarks and greeting cards, and like I want to do gift wrap. I don't know if I'll make it to Christmas, but I want to make gift wrap that like is inclusive of our cultures, you know, like Black family Christmases, Hispanic family Christmases, and like the things that really represent us besides reindeers and Santa Claus.
Oh, that sounds so good. That's awesome. Okay. What else did I want to talk to you about? Because honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm a horrible person. I've had pros and cons in my Amazon for like, I don't know how many weeks already. I swear, and I'm just like, I have to get it because it's like $12, and I just don't know why I haven't gotten it yet. But I do need to check that out. Can you talk to me a little bit about that book? What is that about?
That one, yes, that book I never expected to publish. Like that was another thing too, like being an author. Like I've been saying I'm a writer probably since middle school, because I used to like win a lot of awards, and my teachers were always like, oh my god, you're so great. And that was my first love. But I hate telling people like, I'm a writer, have you published anything? No. So I worked on books, and it's just weird that ended up being the one that I was able to finish first. Like it was specifically like the pros and cons of a relationship I was in. Not pros and cons like he sucks and he's cool for this. More pros and cons of the feelings that you go through when you're falling in love. So one chapter will be like that the con is, I think the first chapter, the con is the past. So that's when you're like getting over your exes, and like you're thinking of maybe people that you miss, and like you're kind of gearing up to face those feelings so you can move on, you know. And then the next pro is like independence, and that's when you're first like over somebody and you start feeling like, wow, I'm the bomb, I'm so strong, like what was I thinking, you know. And then you meet someone and you get a little weak, and like the butterflies start to scare you, and you know, it's like, is this a gut feeling, or am I tripping? Am I just scared because of what happened? And then you start to fall in love and you get comfortable, and then it's another, you know, and it's just kind of like a wave.
Cycle.
And what I realized during that relationship was like, I was looking for guarantees, you know, because I wasn't sure if he was the person for me, but like I wanted some sort of guarantee, and I realized that the issue I was having was not him, it was me. Like I needed to accept relationships for what they are, and they're temporary. They don't have to be temporary, but it's just not about how long they last. You know, there's a lesson that you get out of it. You're supposed to learn more about yourself, and no one is yours, you know? So it really taught me to seek to love without possession, you know, and not letting how long a relationship lasts really be what determines whether it was successful or not. Like, because what you take from it is what makes it a success. If you learn from it, you got something from it.
Right.
And yeah, so it's a series of poems.
And you did all the artwork on there, I'm assuming. Okay.
And that was before, like that's the funny part, because I did that on my I think I did them on my phone with my finger and Adobe Draw.
Yeah.
I was just like, that was before I was really using like my iPad and Apple Pen and all these programs. So
yeah, because it looks like a lot of like abstract stuff. It looks really cool though. Okay, so I'm excited about that. Are you going to be at Basel?
Yes, I'm not sure exactly which events yet. I know that I had an event on the 4th, I think. But like plans change and everything is kind of like weird. So I'm trying to solidify what I'm doing, what the events are doing.
Okay.
But definitely trying to go to like the real events. And that's always been a pet peeve of mine in Miami, because we're so fortunate that we have Art Basel. Art Basel happens 3 places in the world, 3 different times a year. Miami in December, Hong Kong in March, and Switzerland in the summer, in June.
That's where you went, right?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go. But a lot of people come here for Art Basel and they end up at this person's event, this person's event, this person's event. That's not Art Basel. So Art Basel at the Convention Center, Art Miami, Scope, those are like my top 3 that I have to go to. And that's like, it's really like Christmas for me. Like there's feelings, I don't know if you get that, but there's certain places that you go that you feel like this is like my place, like this is where I'm meant to be right now. Yeah. And that it always gives me that feeling, you know, and you always learn a lot. You meet people who have been doing it successfully for years, and it's just really good perspective.
Okay. Do you have like hard copies of your artwork? I guess where I'm going with this is like, are you out there supporting, networking? Are you like promoting your work?
I do more networking and like learning, you know, just trying to learn. At the events, I'm supposed to definitely have some like merch and printed stuff. I've been like trying to find my love for painting again through my illustrations and like transfer them. But yeah, it's usually not about me. It's like my time to go back and be a student again, you know, and just observe.
Yeah.
Question: do you want to go live again?
It stopped?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I shared it so you wouldn't.
Oh, thank you.
So you wouldn't like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. Yeah, good.
Live again?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Do you think? What do you feel? Because there's like so much about like, Miami, like the Miami scene, and especially the art scene, and how it's like harder to like make it in Miami? Have you ever thought about like leaving Miami to somewhere else to try to like make it out there because it might be easier or whatever? How do you feel about that?
There's no such thing. And I think that you, like, what you speak is what you attract, and that's the experience that you attract. I haven't seen that. I know that I want to stay here, so I see nothing but like growth and opportunity here. That's what I see, you know? I want well for the people around me and like good for my friends and things like that, so I see support around me. Like, a lot of people have the opposite experience. Their friends don't support them, and then Miami sucks, and Miami's this, and Miami's that. But when the closer I get to people like that and I hear their stories, like, they're not moving in the right directions anyways. Like, it's not Miami, it's just kind of like the circles that you know what I'm saying? Like, if you hang around people that are looking for opportunities and like a way to get rich fast or like clout chasing, like, you're having those experiences because those intentions aren't pure. Like, if you're trying to change the scene here and like you're doing it from the heart, it's definitely happening, you know what I'm saying? And there's definitely people,
and it's gonna happen here.
And because it's harder, you know, like, people, you move to New York or you move to LA, there's tons of people who have always lived there and they know all the right people. Like, you're just not going to move and automatically blow up. You have to have done the work. I know people who have like moved there but for better reasons, you know what I'm saying? And
opportunity.
They've done the work, so they're already like, they already have a jump start. It's not like Miami sucks, I'm going to move.
Right. Exactly. Like, if you have open doors or an opportunity in LA or in New York, then by all means, obviously it's a good idea, you should move. Because I've just heard people say, not even New York or LA that are major cities, but Nashville, Tennessee, or, you know, like little, like smaller towns, or Georgia, you know, because the art scene is popping, but there's not as many people, I guess, doing it, so why don't you go to that city? But it's so funny because I feel like me and Ishy say it all the time. It's like, if I can make it in my city, then definitely. I've made it, you know? And
I think that's something I picked up on, like, when I was in high school. I think I'm lucky for that. Like, when I hear myself say things that I don't like, sometimes I pick up on it and I try to change like the mindset, because even in high school, my friends and I feel like we were always like, we should have gone to Palmetto, we should have gone to Robert Morgan. Coral Reef is the best school in Miami, like, arguably. Y'all could try to argue with me.
Robert Morgan was the best school in Miami.
Okay. Robert Morgan is the Coral Reef reject, but that's another story. But yeah, like, but if you talk to people that went to Robert Morgan, Southridge, they're saying the same thing. I wish I was at Coral. And I learned that when I left. Like, if I wasn't happy, you know, like, if I was too invested in a relationship that went wrong, if like I was just not focused on the right things and something went wrong, I need to leave, I need to move, I need to take a trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now the headspace that I'm in, like, I try to make the best experience of where I am and what I have now. And like, you don't need a vacation from that, because you've learned to be grateful and you've learned to be happy where you are. And whatever you don't like, make changes, you know, but not to the point where it's like you're running away from something. People don't like me in Miami, let me move. Well, is your personality shitty in Miami? Like, let's work on that. Yeah. And then, so that anywhere you go ahead, you can go, but you're not having the same experiences repeat. And you're not, okay, Atlanta didn't work out, so now I'm in LA, and LA, like, you know, it gets to a point where it's like you have to heal whatever is causing you to act out and do whatever you're doing that's not in your best benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not to say that you wouldn't consider moving, but, you know, Miami is your city, and yeah, I think and there's so much opportunity here anyway, you know, so, and that's key. I feel like if your personality is shitty in Miami, then that's probably why you're not making it, and it's probably going to be shitty anywhere else you go, so you definitely have to work on that, and then you probably will have better opportunity anywhere. Okay, and I guess one thing that I want to ask you really is like, not what keeps you motivated, but what is something that you can say that you do to keep you like inspired, or something that, you know, like self-care routine, or maybe someone you go to, or just something you do in specific, because I know that sometimes, like, or a lot of times as an artist, you get like blocked out, like you get frustrated easily. At least I do. I'm so hard on myself. I'm such like a perfectionist in everything and anything I do, which I think is the biggest factor and probably the biggest thing on why I haven't released a lot of my content and why I haven't done a lot of things, because I thought that I wanted to do PT and psychology and God knows what else, instead of creating and those things. So what can you say, and advice or whatever that you say that you do personally to make you stay focused and
the biggest thing for me is understanding like self-care is not your face mask and your meditation. Self-care is what you do and the actions you take in every like aspect of your life that makes your life like a safe haven. Like what I was talking about, even with like your relationships and how you treat people, like your body, like your experience needs to feel like home. You shouldn't feel like you're trying to be someone else or you're having out of body, like whatever the case may be. So for me this year, like my life changed a lot also with like relationships with like female friends and like naturally I noticed like just people like melting away, like nothing, no fights. I didn't fight with anybody. Just there's a lot of people in the beginning of the year that I talked to that I don't talk to now, and nothing happened. It's just those relationships weren't feeding me, you know what I'm saying? And they didn't have the same visions that I did. And I always felt like I needed to dumb everything down. And I always felt like I couldn't do the things that like I've had in my mind that I could do since I was younger. Like it was just too much or too big or whatever. So that's part of it. Another thing I would say, listening to yourself. If you don't feel like going out, don't go out. And that was a big one for me too. Always feeling like I have so many friends doing so many amazing things. And I felt like I needed to support everyone and be there for everyone. First of all, I live almost an hour away from, a lot of Miami for everything. So I was definitely putting in 2 hours commute time just to support friends, and it's something where it's like someone has a party every Tuesday, someone has a party every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, event, brunch event, Sunday, and it's like I'm gone all week, and while I'm there I felt anxious, like I'm not taking the steps that I had wanted to take towards my goals, And so after a while, I learned to just say no and not feel guilty about it, because I know it's not lack of support. I will support as much as I can, and I try to put my friends on as much as I can and point people in their direction. But if supporting you is gonna like lead to my, downfall, like I have to kind of like make decisions like that, like limit the amount of times that I'm going out, or and really trust myself. If I don't feel like going out, I used to have this feeling like, oh my God, you're young once, like how are you not gonna go to live, like you're people are dying to go for free, and it's like, no, well, the last time I went was the same thing, and the time before that was the same thing. Like it'll be fine.
Choosing your productivity over like just going out, even if it's to support whoever is hosting or whoever, choosing to be productive.
Yes. Sleep, get your sleep. Schedules, like procrastination, all of those things that you think like that's just the way I am. I used to think I work better at night, so stay up late and whatever, and then wake up to like no. Like since I go to bed when I'm tired and I wake up 7 a.m, I get a lot more done
throughout the day
than I think I'm getting done at night. At night I'm just kind of like laying there trying to do something, dozing off, waking up, dozing off, and then the next thing you know, it's 4 a.m, you get no sleep for really nothing, and procrastination, like if I don't procrastinate, I leave room to do a lot of other things that might pop up, like whereas if I have a client, I promise work by Friday and I wait until Friday to do it, and then a big project comes my way I could have done, it's like you can't do it because this person paid you and now you're running late. So those are a few things. I do have my mantras. I have my reminders that pop up on my phone that remind me that like everything is going according to plan, everything's gonna be fine. Like things that I want to start, like I have one for my podcast that I haven't started, that says it's gonna be great, just start it, and like every time I see that, I feel a little guilty that I haven't started. So eventually I'll do it.
And what are you waiting for that? Because I think this is the second time I hear you talking about it.
I recorded like 3 episodes, but I want to make sure that it's gonna be consistent. You know,
Yeah.
so I feel like whenever I'm gonna start, I need to learn how to edit them, learn where I'm gonna host them through, and then continue like reaching out to the people that I want to interview, because it's like it's important to me. That's why I want to do it the right way, you know.
That sounds lit. I'm excited for that. Okay, that sounds really good. I feel like you're just awesome, and you've said a lot, and I'm just like, my brain is scrambling. I just throw this away. I don't even need this anymore.
Process.
I don't need this anymore.
That's a sad thing. When people tell me too much, I'm like, I'm gonna digest this later.
Okay. I mean, is there anything else that you want to mention? Or I know I asked you, like, what you're working on, and you're just like, you trying to keep it a secret, or?
I think I told you guys a lot more than I usually speak of.
Got her. You got her.
Good.
Yeah, because I used to feel like that too, but I went to a talk, it's really good, and that's something I want everyone to know. Like, that's what I've done more of, instead of trying to be at everybody's party. Like, I'll go and check it out just to see how it is one time, but I don't really enjoy partying that much. One, I don't drink, and like, two, like, I don't know, I can dance in my house. So the things that I really prioritize are the events that people put together that are more so like, we're gonna connect and like learn something, you know? So I went to a talk the other day, a friend of mine put together, and the guy was just saying how your audience engages a lot more when they feel like they're along the way with you, and like, they can understand your motives a little bit better because they can see you working on it and you're taking their input, and it's like they feel like you guys are building together more so than being like, this is what I made. So I am gonna try to see if I can implement that a little better, like I was saying with the dating pool too, like not just making it about me, but like all of our experiences, because at the end of the day, like in this era of social media, like we just want to feel connected.
Yeah, and I feel like you do a really good job at that. Like, you do a really good job at, I guess keeping up with your social media and engaging, with the people that follow you, and kind of allowing us to see at least a little bit of the things that you're working on. Because just speaking to you briefly and knowing you, through social media, I know that you probably have a lot, just in the archives and up your sleeve, which is awesome. And which is what I feel like people should, you shouldn't just release all your content, because then you're just like overwhelmed, But I feel like you do a really good job at that. So, I think that's good. I'm so happy that you came.
No, thank you for having me.
Really, really happy that you're here. This was my first episode of Jetlag. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Reyna.
Thank you.